Good morning. Welcome to Shadow Place Cafe. Hi, Samir. Long time no see.
Morning, Jessica. Haven't seen you for a long time. How's your school going? Wait a second, Jessie. Aren't you supposed to be in your senior year and busy with your job hunting? What are you doing here for?
I had to quit my school a while ago and help my parents out to take care of Shadow Place. Do you remember Liddy, our store manager as well as my parents' most trusted friend for 30 years? She was fired a few weeks ago.
Liddy was fired. What happened?
We had to let her go because she had been stealing money from the business all these years to pay for gambling debts. My parents were so heartbroken.
I can relate to their feelings. Your parents had been treating Liddy like a family member.
True. My parents always told me the story about how the three of them built Shadow Place together. My parents thought since they had very little business experience, so they hired on their best friend to manage the front end of the store. They figured Liddy could use her expertise in accounting to handle all of the cashiering, accounting, and financial end of the business, while my parents dove into the kitchen researching the recipes and improving the menus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Despite seeing consistently good customer numbers, my parents couldn't understand why Shadow Place's business was still struggling years after its opening. They had become suspicious a few months in and turned to me for help. I began to review Lydia's financial statements. I did surprise cash counts a couple times. I had looked at different things on the financial end. Never did it cross our mind that she could rob my parents. We did not even know she has gambling habits.
According to my professor, Dr. Liu, in accounting forensics and investigation class, although thieves come in all shapes and sizes, there are some recurring patterns. The average age of the perpetrator was 47.9 years, and 71 of the perpetrators held positions in finance and accounting.
But why? Why did she do that to my parents?
Let me use the fraud triangle to answer your question. Fraud triangle is the framework for spotting high-risk fraud situations. Dr. Liu said, to commit a fraud, you need to be a pro. PRO. P means pressure, usually financial and greed issues. R means rationalization. The mentality of others have it and why not me? O means opportunity. The perpetrator knows she is too smart and will not get caught.
Liddy is indeed a pro. She not only put cash into her own pocket, she also falsified a fictitious vendor account to purchase supplies and equipment for the business. She would steal coffee beans to sell on eBay for profits. We later also found out she forged my parents' signatures and gave herself 2 extra paychecks per month, in addition to her regular pay. To make matters worse, she had not paid payroll taxes for several months and was shredding all of the IRS notices. She would ask my parents to sign the payroll tax checks as always, and then she would shred them. In total, she embezzled over $45,000, and my parents owed over $20,000 in late payroll tax payments. But I have to admit there were some red flags. We just ignored it. For example, Liddy never wanted to take vacation and always had a reason why she needed to handle the mill. My parents also suspect Liddy tried to get our other staff members in trouble a lot and make sure they would not trust anyone but herself.
I'm surprised to hear that your business does not have any check and balance in place. To protect against staff embezzlement, you need to segregate duties within the finance function. Separation of duties is the key aspect of internal controls.
Can you explain separation of duties? How does it work?
Sure. For example, the individual responsible for collecting payments should not be involved in depositing payments. This way, a single individual would face difficulty performing embezzlement alone. Also, I suggest Shadow Place to have a receipt system to acknowledge cash payments. That is, do not have the same person post payments, make bank deposits, issue refunds, or post charges. The bottom line is employee duties within the cash functions must be separated to ensure that one individual does not control all key aspects of receiving, depositing, dispersing, reconciling and recording of a cash transaction.
It's impossible. You know Shadow Place is a small cafe and we are always short of staff.
No worries. In the case, you will help your parents implement some mitigating or compensating controls to ensure appropriate checks and balances exist to minimize the risk of fraud.
Compensating or mitigating controls.
Yes, compensating controls means to increase management oversight. You will review reports of detailed transactions, take periodic cash and equipment inventory counts. You should also periodically hand deliver payroll checks to ensure all staff paid actually exist. Most of all, you should review reconciliations of Shadow Place's account balances or perform them yourself. But these are only a few examples of measures to compensate staff shortage. I suggest you to explore the issue further and figure out the best way to apply it to your business.
I surely will. Summer, thank you very much for the valuable information. I'm so glad I talked to you today. You know, I also heard that there will be a series of presentation sessions starting this evening in our community center. The sessions will cover topics like general overview of internal controls, cash and cash negotiables, inventories, and separation of duties. Each session will be presented by subject matter experts in the field of internal controls from County of Los Angeles. I will definitely check them all out and show you what I learned.
Way to go, girl.